All right, I've watched a lot of this gentleman's videos here. His name's Jack Axton. I'm going to put his link down to his channel. He's very intelligent when it comes to the economy. He is really into the economical gameplay in any game that he plays, and I just like his point of view when it comes to trading. And let's see what he's thinking about Star Citizen right now in terms of the economic gameplay.
Right. For State of Trade in Star Citizen. 3.13 has been pushed to live. This patch sees new additions such as larger caves, the Cyclone MT, and the Rock DS, a previously rehashed concept for the Grey Cat Rock. It also sees quality of life improvements for the Constellation series of ships, such as working lifts, deployable Merlins, and...
This is great. There has been a lot of development happening this year in terms of game mechanics like no other. Docking ship to ship, the caves being much larger. There's a lot of things, forced reactions. There's a lot of great things happening. But in terms of like trading right now, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. Tony Z, I hope you're watching this. Tony Z, we need you, man. We need some economic gameplay, bro. Like hook us up with some economic gameplay, man.
And nacelles without shield holds. However,
the SDF tech,
not all is as happy as it seems.
No, it isn't, Jack. Like SDF, awesome. Plugging up shield holes, like everything. So basically, Jack is like, listen, guys, you're doing wonderful work here. You're doing the things that need to get done, but hey, what about traders? What about trading?
3.13 introduces the removal of the armistice zone of Port Olisar, making any visit to the station a dangerous affair. What's more,
Donnie.
Ships appear to murder players or spontaneously combust. The elevator of the Drake Caterpillar runs the risk of putting anyone near it 6 feet under. And what of trade? It appears that as some things change, others stay the same. CIG has made little effort to adjust the trade economy, leading to a repeat of 3.12. Prices across the Stanton system are at an all-time high, with supply and demand at an all-time low. Ships as small as the Constellation, with a modest 96 SCU, have been unable to fill their holds on basic commodities, such as astatine, titanium, or distilled spirits. Even commodities such as gold have been seen at high prices and low stock across the system. Why?
Yeah, like, here's the thing. It's a template. It's just a template right now. It's the same thing I bitch about with Elite Dangerous, like the kind of the fetch quest A to B, no real economy yet, and that's because there really isn't yet. It's a very basic database right now, and there needs to be more. There's probably a lot of work happening behind the scenes, but it's not really been implemented on any of the patches yet.
While State of Trade usually features specific prices to help inform on what to trade and what to ignore, this will be the first episode where that is avoided, as few trade routes are even manageable in this state. As an example, we were unable to empty a Constellation's worth of fluorine at Deacon's research on Yela. As a more extreme example, we were also unable to sell a mere 51 units, or half of an SCU of medical supplies at Crew L1. With the removal of Port Olisar's armistice zone and lack of a security force to keep the peace in the area, even the old standby of scrap trading has been cast to the wind, with salvage yards having lower capacity to handle bulk scrap.
Right. Donnie's saying study on player behavior is extremely important prior to solidifying the economy. Right. I still think there's a really interesting balance you have to hit, Donnie, to properly measure player behavior with trading. You have to make sure that there is enough demand around and supply to fulfill demand to a degree so that you can get better metrics. I think it's a very, very, very hard thing to do. Yeah. And like, it's exactly what Theaters of War is going to do with balancing weaponry and vehicles. It's a very similar thing right now, what we're dealing with trading, to what Theaters of War is going to be doing for, in terms of Theater of War. Like, I feel like it's a separation. It'll take people away from the PU, which in my mind is not a good thing. I kind of agree with Red Bear in those terms. On the other hand, it is a test bed of sorts. Theater of War, yes, will gravitate towards people that just want that quick bang BR experience, but on the other hand, it will be an interesting test bed to find like what things are too OP, what things need nerfed, what things need buffed. And we'll see. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen there. Yeah, right now commodities really don't. There's no real supply demand structure right now. It's basically like a spreadsheet, if you will, spread out. Where price points are dictated by the people plugging in the numbers, and they're using our patterns as a means on kind of figuring out how to go about putting values to commodities in a range so that they can enter it into the quantum. I know I'm getting a little above some people's thought processes here, but for in layman's terms, they're watching our behaviors for trade to value resources in a spectrum, if you will, of like, okay, here's the lowest price point, here's the highest price point. They're going to take that data and they're going to plug it into quantum, the algorithm, if you will. So that's, at least in my mind, I mean, this isn't 100% fact, but this is in my mind what they're doing when it comes to simulating supply and demand, which I am still skeptical about. You look pretty buff to me. What's up, Execute? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. Good to see you here, man.
All trade outposts were visited, and each one failed to provide adequate amounts of profitable cargo. Ships used for this testing varied between the Constellation series, the Mercury Star Runner, and the Drake Caterpillar. With the current state of trade, or lack thereof, the trade economy has entered an economic depression.
This is great because we're getting information from Donnie, who works at Cloud Imperium. He's saying, I was saying the other day how tungsten as a commodity is going to be extremely valuable. Why? Because tungsten is utilized to repair high-grade metal materials. NASA uses it all the time on stainless steel and titanium. So this makes me think it's for ship repairs as an example. You're talking about also being able to use these things on components. We saw the new access features on the Gladius. We saw like how the new components are going to work. I'm very excited about that. I saw that. That's a great development happening in that's being understated and not talked about enough. That's awesome to be able to see like the professions have more solidity when you're a mechanic or an engineer. So like it's great seeing these parts and pieces being put there. Also being able to repair these parts and pieces is in the works, and to be able to use materials that are commodities like tungsten to use as a component to physically take the physical inventory of tungsten and use it to repair a part or piece is going to give it a value right there. The utility of it is going to give it value, which is another reason I get really concerned when we talk about like algorithmic supply and demand. When we talk about the calculations being needed to give us it, normally that happens by itself. Normally that happens just because of the demand. Like, is it useful? Is it something I can use that I need in the game? These types of things generally happen normally, but because people are too afraid to just let the volatility run where it may and let price points go where they may, they get worried that people are going to exploit the system, and they don't understand that trading in a way is about exploits. That trading is essentially how to exploit to get the best profit margin. That is almost the very definition of trading. So when you're reining that in because you're worried about the player base and you're worried about people who are too worried about not understanding true supply demand, you're almost putting like constraints on the people that actually know about supply and demand. So Donnie, I think gets what I'm talking about. And I'm sure that's stuff that Tony also talks about. I'm sure these are great conversations to be had. I would love to be able to have conversations about supply and demand naturally happening through the player base versus, having to rein shit in. Welcome to the fam, man. Welcome to the fam, dude. Having to rein in volatility and control the volatility with an algorithm. And I get why they're doing it. I understand why they're doing it. But I would also like to talk about this algorithm, this formula that gives us like this simulated supply and demand. You know, I would really like to be able to like open the hood and check it out. But it's all fascinating to me. I hope it works. I really do.
Depression. With little demand and even less supply, trade ships have been left collecting dust in their hangars. Even ships as small as the Drake Cutlass struggle to fill their holds with legitimately sourced cargo. As 3.13 looks to continue the despair experience during 3.12, hope is on the horizon for a trade refactor with the release of the Hercules Starlifter, due in an upcoming 3.13.x patch. However, CIG has yet to communicate an effective date or milestone for trade improvement. While some
Okay, and I understand why people could get upset about that. Here's the thing. This is definitely being worked on. This is really important component to gameplay. And if you don't think so, look at the success of EVE Online. Look at how long EVE Online has lasted, being a game that is focused mainly around trading, mainly around resources, mainly around a base of people that love the economy, that love industry. You can talk about how many people are still playing EVE Online for that gameplay alone. So, of course, I think there's a lot of work being done here behind the scenes. And a lot of times it's hard to present this information to people. A lot of times, a lot of people will say I really want to see this. I really want to see this, the economic gameplay. I really want to see what's going on with the numbers, you know? But then when like the talk starts to happen, you get like this, you know, like, no explosions. Oh, what no cool new ship, you know, like that happens all the time. And that's sad. That's a sad thing. But I do think there's a large percentage of people that are really, really into like this in-depth kind of very analytical gameplay when it comes to the economy. I think there's a lot of people who are interested in supply and demand trading, finding things at lower prices, selling things at higher prices. There's a lot of people that are involved in it that don't understand the economics of it. They don't understand the supply demand economics behind what it is they're doing. There's a lot of people like that. But like when you get people that are saying like, hey, I think this is really important. Maybe we should have this being something that we talk about on Inside Star Citizen, or perhaps let's talk about this with Star Citizen Live. And then what ends up happening is that, you know, you will say, oh my God, yeah, Jared's listening, or somebody's listening over at Cloud Imperium. Like, this is wonderful that they're listening, and they will actually put out content. They've done this in the past before that I'm super happy about. Like, anytime there's any like economy talk, I'm right there and loving it and just gimme, right? But like, you know, when the voice is out there and crying for it, and then the information hits, you get a lot of people that are just like, oh, okay, cool, you're doing what we asked, okay. You know, it's like, well, dudes, it's so hypocritical, you know, like that's the thing that probably gets to a lot of people at Cloud Imperium, and maybe that's why we just don't get the talks that we get, you know, about it. Donnie says, everything in SC to me is personally, I feel, should have attention to detail within sensible reason. But one of reasons why people love SC is because it forces you to learn things and adjust based on what you learn. Many games don't really do this anymore. They hold your hand. Yes, but not SC. Yes. And one of the reasons I really love SC is because professions happen naturally through your own skill level. You don't have to open a book and skill up. You don't have to buy an item to become proficient at something. You literally have to know what it is that you're flying. You literally have to know the parts and pieces of your ship. You literally have to know what it is that is in terms or the genre of the profession that you pick. So like just being in that profession, you will skill up by learning about what it is that you have to do, which is fantastic.
Some sources have said that a major update will only come with Quanta.
You guys are busy talking about Jared. Are you busy talking about Jared's fresh looks while I'm having this deep? You see what happens here too as well? This is great because I know people that are interested in economy are right there with me. They're like talking with me. But do you guys see this whole other conversation happening about Fresh's or Jared's fresh new like looks that they want, like the beard and the hair? Like, what's going on with Jared's looks, man? Like, this is fantastic. You can see it. I am literally literally telling you guys that when people talk about the economy, they go like this. Chrono said this because I don't cry. And this is the proof here, guys. This is the literal data. This is the proof that when people start talking about the economy, like, look what happens over here. There is a separate conversation happening over here right now. It has nothing to do with anything that I'm talking about. They're talking about Jared's beard, his hair, like anything but the economy. That's it. I'm done. Jack, I'm sure it's a great video, bro. I don't know how you do it, man. I remember I would focus on the economy all the time. I give you lots of love, bro. I thought this was an ingenious way of presenting. Hey, guys, snap to it and start focusing on the economy. They're doing it. I know Jack's a little upset, but here's the thing, Jack. They're doing it. They're doing it. But look what happens when you talk about it. Look what happens when you talk about it, Jack. You understand, dude? I think you do. I think Jack knows. I think Jack gets it. He does have a trading channel after all. We're doing it. There you go. There you go. So good. It's so good.